Hello, Diane here. Oh dear, you caught me with my face mask on. Silly me, should have remembered to take it off. Oh dear. Hello, can't help myself. Just trying to give us all a bit of a giggle at this time of year because it's so awful grey and miserable and people have just started back to work and it's never a great time of excitement and enthusiasm, really, is it? Which is a shame because I'm sure those of you who've had birthdays, which have been a few, I'm sure you've all enjoyed yourselves anyway. But yeah, that was just my little way to give you a bit of a quick smile before I run through a few things that's going on in the next week for the newsletter. This blog post is mainly. So let's get cracking before I take too long as ever. I'm just talking too much. And I need to remember to look in there. I keep forgetting. Right, tomorrow, beginner sewer sessions. Getting used to your machine is the main focus tomorrow. If anybody's had any new machines that they need to get used to, that's what that's for. It's the first one of 6 sessions. So if you miss tomorrow's, I can always repeat it if we need. And there are 5 other topics that we'll cover to get a few ground things covered for beginners to get used to the machines and get loving it. Thursday, it's a new thing I'm starting this year called, it's for a new charity I'm supporting. Last year I supported Together for Short Lives. And I enjoyed that and it's a fantastic cause. But that was last year. Now each year I try to choose a new one, and this year, thanks to the inspiration of Nikki Eglinton, I'm supporting Siblings Together, which is a charity which supports fostered children who've been cared for in separate homes. You know, the carers couldn't have them together, and they have residential camps and things for them to go on so they can spend some quality time with their siblings and keep those family connections going. And what they do is they make quilts for them, and these children get to keep the quilts, and so they're not only something beautiful that somebody's made for them so they can keep, so it's snuggly, and also it reminds them of their time when they were with their siblings. So it's of course I used to be a teacher, so anything child related really for me is pretty uptight, but this is a new thing for me, thinking about children who've been adopted or fostered and who can't be together with their siblings. And we, as quilters, do our little thing by making a quilt for them to have at these camps. And the sessions are just doing very basic patchwork blocks, just square, straight line sewing, nothing complicated. Because the idea is, or last year they wanted to make 100 quilts for these students, so there's as many as possible. I won't be making 100 myself, but if I have a few people coming along to help me in these sessions, we'll get more made. So the first one will be on Thursday, 10 till 12, and then there'll be an evening option if you can't get there during the day. Just £5 for the session, because I'm not teaching as such. The £5 is just to cover the costs of the studio. And we'll, even if you've never done patchwork before, it's just very basic sewing, and the pattern for the block I've chosen is very straightforward. Nothing scary there at all. So we'll just sew as many of those blocks as we can and then get them sent off as a full quilt. We'll quilt them together and then obviously send them off for them to use at the camps. So that's Thursday. It's Friday's social session, and then in the evening, Hand Stitch Friday is starting again. I think I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm still a bit umming and ahhing about that one, but I think I'm going to be doing... Anyway, I will show you on Friday. Keep your eyes peeled. On Saturday, there is nothing on at the studio because I have to take my daughter to Leicester. We're going to De Montfort Uni for their open day because she's interested in being a nurse and they have a good course there for her apparently. So we're going to have a good old look around there. Monday, social session, but in the evening we've got a crochet class on again, 7 till 9. So again, if you want to go on that, I do need to know by Friday so that I can keep Diane informed about what's what Yeah, we'll just start off the year, with granny squares, but if you've got another little project you're doing, you want to bring it along, that's fine. But the main emphasis as such is for beginners to get into it, and also if you've been to a couple of her classes before and you haven't had a chance to practice, it gives you a chance to be around Diane again, who can be a helping hand, get you going again properly. Because just one little session isn't enough to always, just spark you off, and everybody's that quick at learning things. So that's Monday, let me know. And then, is it the Wednesday? I didn't write it down. Next week, we've got a first patchwork of the year. It's Quilt As You Go. Because a lot of people find the idea of quilting a whole quilt, or even just a baby quilt, they find the whole idea of quilting it. Now, what I mean by quilting, some people mix this up. The patchwork is the sewing of the fabric pieces together. The quilting is where you're sewing the top, your patchwork piece, your wadding, that's the padding in the middle, and then your base, the backing. When you sew those together with different stitches, that's called the quilting, and there's all sorts of different designs. And some people find quilting a whole quilt, or even table runner, too daunting on a hand machine, on a home machine. And so these Quilt As You Go blocks are a really great way of getting everything done at once in just a 12, let's say for example, a 12 by 12 size at a time. So it's not anywhere near as daunting a task. And it is actually good fun. We'll do some stripped piecing Quilt As You Go blocks to start off, and perhaps if people really take to it, we might even get a chance to do a little applique one, so that you can mix the two together in your quilt, and it looks really effective. So that's next week. Right, the quick question I wanted to ask you was, the Karen Lewis screen printing workshop that I've got booked for February the 27th is very popular, and it booked out just by word of mouth over the weekend. So I've gone and emailed quite a few different tutors, and I've met a couple of different people, and I've asked them if they would like to do workshops. And I have a networking group I'm part of, and one of the ladies there suggested that I contact the Hat Works in Stockport, is the Hat Museum. See if any of their tutors, like Lorna Young, could perhaps do a hat making session or a few sessions at the studio. Now, I just want to know, are you interested in making a hat? A felted hat, perhaps. I did offer a class last year, but nobody took me up, so I'm not convinced that any of you actually want to learn how to make a hat, perhaps using the felted technique to start you off. So I could do some feedback on that, please. Just reply to the email, the newsletter email, or if you're just seeing this on the blog, just use the contact us page, or email diane@stitchscape.uk. Okay, that's all. I'll cut it down now, and stay healthy, get rid of that bug, those nasty viruses, and stay safe, and hopefully I will see you soon. Without my face mask on, of course. Okay, bye now.